Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good day, ma'am. I am Muhammad Ryan D. Ali, and I am here to defend my previous exams. First, in the preliminary examination, the first problem says that what is meant by ill conditioning of a set of linear equations and give examples. For me, as I've studied, ill conditioning ill conditioning, you can determine an ill-conditioned set of linear equations by a technique that I've learned. You can define an ill-conditioned set of linear equations if you transform them into a matrix form, then determine its determinant. If its determinant is singular, if its determinant is 0, meaning it is a singular. If its determinant has decimal places, or much worse, if it is negatives with decimal places, it is ill-conditioned. Then if it is a whole number with no decimals, then it is a well-conditioned. To give you a further example, I'll show you my example on what I finished here. I'll just attach it on the video. Here I gave a sample of matrix A, which consists of 1.72, negative 0.8, 2.11, negative 3.03, 1.84, 1.29, negative 1.57, 4.3, 5.25. And I wrote here that we can determine a linear equation are ill-conditioned if the determinant of its matrix form consists of decimal numbers. Here I solved the determinant of matrix A. I used the conventional technique of solving determinant, not the Marano technique or something. Problem 2. By evaluating the determinant, classify the following matrices are singular, ill-conditioned, or well-conditioned. For the letter A, matrix A is equals to 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5. We determine the matrix, determinant of the matrix simply by, just make it my problem, solution. Let's just multiply 1, parenthesis 3 times 5 minus 4 times 4, minus 2, parenthesis 2 times 5 minus 4 times 3, parenthesis 3, parenthesis, close parenthesis, plus 3, parenthesis 2 times 4 minus 3 times 3, and we get a determinant of 0, which tells us that the determinant of the matrix is a singular. For the letter B, matrix A is equals to 2.11, negative 0.8, 1.72, negative 1.84, 3.03, 1.24, negative 1.57, 5.25, and lastly 4.3. Then, as same as the letter A, we solve the determinant and we get a determinant of 0.059. That tells us that the determinant of that matrix, that tells us that the matrix itself is a ill-conditioned. Problem 3. Given the LU decomposition is equals to A is equals to LU, determine A and determinant of A. We get given values of lower triangular matrix and upper triangular matrix. The lower triangular matrix consists of 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 5 over 3, and 1. The upper triangular matrix consists of 1, 2, 4, 0, 3, 21, 0, 0, 0. We equate the given values into we equate the given values into A is equals to LU. Then simply by multiplying, we get the A matrix. We get the A matrix that consists of 1, 2, 4, 1, 5, 25, 1, 7, 39. And now we have the base matrix, which is A matrix. Then we can determine the determinant as the same in the previous problems. And in the end, we get a 0 determinant, which tells us that the matrix itself is a singular. Sorry, I have to transfer from I have to transfer places because they were too noisy in the room. And here's the problem 5, which I consider the most trickiest of all given problems in the exam. Problem 5 states that a civil engineer needs 4,800, 5,800, and 5,700 cubic meters of sand, fine gravel, and coarse gravel respectively. And it gives us a table, which this one. And the table says that in every pit there's are different percentages of sand, fine gravel, and coarse gravel that we can haul from it. The pit 1 gives us 55%, 30, 15% of sand, fine gravel, and coarse gravel respectively. On the pit 2, we get 25, 45, 30%. In the pit 3, 25, 20, and 55. So it asks us how many cubic meters must be hauled from each pit to meet the engineer's need. Use Gauss-Seidel method with pre-specified percent tolerance of 5%. So on my solving, here's my solving. I'll just show it to you later. First, I let the pit 1 to 3 be variables x, y, and z. Then I made equations on each material needed. And for the sand, I get an equation of 0.55x plus 0.85y plus 0.25z is equals to 4,800. And everything follows. I'll just show it to you later because it's too tiring to say it all. Then, after I get that equations, I transformed it into I transformed all the other variables to form an equivalent variable of single variable. I mean this one, x is equals to 4,800 minus 0.25y minus 0.25z all over 0.55. In Tagalog, tinransform ko lahat, ini-transfer ko lahat yung ibang variables para makakuha ng x. Same din dun sa y tsaka z. And after I get that values of equations, I made an iteration. In Gauss-Seidel method, every time that you solve for an x, you update the variables. Every time nakakasolve ka ng value ng x, tapos i-solve mo na naman yung ibang variable, i-update mo yung naunang variable kung ano yung nakuha mong value sa una mong iteration. To further explain, pakita ko na lang sa inyo yung kung ano na yung solving, kung ano yung natapos ng solving ko. Tapos in the end, we get an approximate values of x is equals to 2,436.06, y is equals to 9,175.713, z is equals to 4,694.322. But that's an only approximated value, and we got an EA of 0.13%, which is less than the pre-specified tolerance of 5%. Then we can consider we can terminate the iteration. But if we really want to know that true value of the roots, we can use the cycle, which gives us 2,416.667, y is equals to 9,193.333, and z is equals to 4,690. And that's all. For the problem 6, wait, let me find the problem 6. The problem 6, we can apply any numerical method for it. And the 4 blocks of different masses, Mi, are connected by ropes of negligible mass. 3 of the blocks lie on the inclined plane, the coefficients of frictions between the blocks and the plane being nu I. The equation of motion for the blocks can be shown. Here, it gives us an already finished equations, where Ti denotes the tensile forces in ropes and A is the acceleration of the system. Determine A and Ti if angle is equals to 45 degrees, and g is equals to gravity, 9.81 meter per second squared. And all the given masses, M1, 10, M2, 4, M3, 5, M4, 6. And the new for the coefficient of friction, 0.25, 0.3, and 0.2. To solve this, first, that I let the variables T1, I made the proper equation. I solve all the given constant values. Then I came up with 52.025, 19.423, 27.747, and negative 57.87. Then I transformed all of the equation, proper equation, final equations, everything what you can call it. I transformed it into a matrix A, which consists of 1, 0, 0, 10, negative 1, 1, 0, 4, 0, negative 1, 1, 5, 0, 0, negative 1, 6, and a B, which gives us 52.05, 19, etc., etc. Then I solve it using Gauss with partial pivoting. Then I came up with our upper triangular matrix of 1, 0, 0, 10, 52.025, 0, 1, 0, 4, 71.448, 0, 0, 1, 19, 99.197, 0, 0, 0, 25, 40, 335. Then to get values, I just simply used backward substitution, and I get an acceleration of 1.613 meter per second squared, T3 of 68.55 newtons, T2 48.87 newtons, and T1 35.9 newtons. And that's all for the prelim. For the midterm exams, the first test, which is identification, I don't have to tell that everything because we can search it on the Google. I'll just directly explain the problem solvings. The test 2. First problem solving in the exam is determine the roots of f of x is equals to negative 13, negative 20 plus 19x squared minus 3x cubed. If you solve if you solve it directly to the scientific calculator, we got a true value of x sub 1 is equals to negative 0.447, x sub 2 is equals to 4.73, x sub 3 is equals to 2.05. Then first solve it graphically. You can solve it graphically and conveniently on scientific calculator. Just go to the table, then input the function and solve for x. Just it asks you where x value, where you will start, then how many steps. I started with negative 3 and end with 5, positive 5, and I get step of 1. Then I get these values of 299, 127, 29, negative 13, negative 17, negative 1, 17, 19, 13, respectively from all the x values I started and ended. And I plotted the graph, which is not very good looking because I'm bad with graphs, but it's the approximated value. And for B, use bisection method to determine one root. And I'll just show you the solution. I set an upper limit and lower limit of 5 and 4 respectively. And to get the XR, just simply XU plus XL all over 2, the average of the XU and XL. Then to determine the next XU and XL, you just simply multiply the f of XL times f of XR. And if it gives you a positive value, meaning the first XR you get, you'll just input it into the second iteration of XL. Then if it gives you a negative value, the XR that you got from the last iteration, you put it into XU. And you solve for EA. We get an pre-specified tolerance of 1% stopping trillion of 1%. Then for solving the f of x, I have 6 iterations. Then I have an EA of 0.35%, which is less than 1. And I have value of XR is equals to 4.735. And for C, use false position to determine one root. Bisection and false position is quite similar but different in approach in XR. In bisection, XR is just simply the average of U, XU, and XL. But for the XR in false position, we get a formula. I don't have to tell it. I'll just show it to you. Then I solved 2 iterations of it, as I said in the problem. And yes, I get a value of 2.05 and has a EA of 0.03, which is less than 1. For the problem 2, you are designing a spherical tank to hold water for small village, etc., which gives us an equation of V is equals to pi h squared multiplied by 3r minus h all over 3, which is V is in volume, cubic meter, h is in meters, and use 3 iterations of false position to determine your answer. First, what I did is I input the given values, then I rearranged the function, then I made an iteration, and just same as in the problem 1, the false position, then I get an XR of 1.95, which has 2.05% of EA. In the problem 3, locate the first positive root of f of x is equals to sine x plus cosine 1 plus x squared minus 1, where x is in radians. Use 4 iterations of second method. For the second method, we get an xi minus 1, the past, let's just say past x is equals to 1, and present x, xi is equals to 3. This is where it gets tricky because in second method, instead of giving a fixed initial assumption of x, it just gives us a given xi minus 1. It's very windy here. Then I solve the equation using second method. I'll just show you to the formula, the solution, so you don't have to talk anymore. For the problem 4, let's find the problem. The problem 4 is just same as the problem 2, but we have to use Newton-Raphson. In Newton-Raphson, we have to apply what we've learned in Math 60, the derivation of equations. Then simply on my solution, I just had 3 iterations. Then first, I get an f of x, which is same as the problem 2. I rearrange the function, which gives me 9 pi h squared minus pi h cubed minus 90. Then I later derive it, and it gives us 18 pi h minus 3 pi h squared. Then on the iteration, I made initial guess of r, which is r is equivalent to 3. Then I substituted the 3 into the function of the normal function and the derived function, and it gives me values of 79.646, 84.823. Then using a formula of Newton-Raphson, which is xn plus 1 is equals to xn minus f of xn all over f prime of xn. Basically, it's the new value of x. Then it gives me a value of 2.061, and I only had 3 iterations to get an x value of 2.027. And that's all.